Hello everybody, this is Timothy Malcolm of 845 Scene and the Times Herald-Record. We're here today going to talk about the 2011 Bethel Woods Pavilion schedule, which is now just about a formality. It's just about finished, and we have the big Go cover this week talking about the schedule. And with me to talk about it are two men who kind of know Bethel Woods in and out. They've been to a lot of shows, they know it well. To my right I have Barry Lewis, the Sullivan County editor, Sunday editor of the Times Herald-Record, who has been covering Bethel Woods since it was planned. And to my left I have Steve Israel, who has been also covering Bethel Woods for a long time, well-known reporter in this area. And I guess to start, if we were going to do this Tuesday morning, we would have not said something like this, but now that Tuesday has passed, the big news: Elton John is playing Bethel Woods this year, September 3rd. I'll start with you, Barry. What's your reaction, your spit-take reaction to this?
Tim, if we were doing this Tuesday morning, we would have been talking about Janet Jackson as the big name possibly coming up this year, at least the name that nobody figured on that was going to draw the big attention. Yeah. You know, Selena Gomez is the sellout. There'll be some nice turnout with the Philharmonic and the Boston Pops. But Elton John, I think possibly next to Sting in terms of, you know, a universal name that will draw for all genres, without question, the biggest name that Bethel Woods has ever had.
That brings me to Fish, who's opening the Bethel Woods season on Memorial Day weekend with 3 shows. They're opening their tour with that set of shows. They kind of have that whole 1960s jam band, Grateful Dead kind of thing going on, and they kind of seem to be a perfect fit for that place.
There's a certain tradition, call it the Woodstock tradition. Singer-songwriters, jam bands, Dylan, who didn't play Woodstock, but his whole legacy, the Dead, who did play Woodstock, their whole legacy, which
and
is Fish.
Further is playing.
And Further, Phil Lesh is one of the best shows I've seen there. Yeah, I think that is Bethel Woods' special niche.
I wanted to ask as a final question, because this goes back to what Bethel Woods does really well, and that's the history and the idea of the 1960s, bringing that back and kind of keeping that going. This year they brought back the Bethel Woods art, the Festival of the Arts, yep. That
August
Woodstock weekend,
right, August 14th,
Music
15th,
and Arts
16th,
Festival.
Right.
They have this year members of Blood, Sweat and Tears and members of the Family Stone. No Sly, members of the Family Stone. Now, my thought is, the first one they did, Levon Helm, you had Mountain, you had, you know, all those Canned Heat, all those bands that really made that thing possible. And then you kind of come back 2 years later and you have, well, I think to me it's a little bit of a letdown from what you're expecting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he said that we want to bring in artists who kind of reflect that spirit of Woodstock. Do you think that is possible years down the road, 10 years down the road, to still have those kinds of groups, or to do something different of that ilk?
I think you do have younger generational performers who try to reflect that era. Mm-hmm. You know, the Dave Matthews and others who, you know, certainly were not around to play Woodstock, right. But they seem to have that appreciation of what Woodstock meant.
I'd like to see those acts. I mean, quite honestly, some of the weakest stuff that I saw was the 40th anniversary, some of the reconstituted, you know, Big Brother, some singer trying to be Janis Joplin. It was pretty lame. But, you know, that really wasn't the point of the whole thing.
The point is the atmosphere.
You know, so I would like to see, you know, I would really like to see more quality acts. We're talking about before that kind of fulfill the legacy, yeah, and the standards of Woodstock. But you know, it's scheduling.
Whatever they do, I'll tell you, they're going to have quite a good schedule already. It looks like a really good 2011. Elton John, Fish, Janet Jackson, right off the bat, and then you got a lot of good shows after that. So that is the Bethel Woods 2011 schedule. I'm Timothy Malcolm. This was Barry Lewis, and this was Steve Israel, and we'll be here all summer talking about Bethel Woods at the Times Herald-Record and at 845scene.com. Until next time, have some fun now.